Sponsored by ESL Federal Credit Union.
Things are awfully quiet this evening, and we know that's going to be changing as we march deeper into the night. Temperatures right now of 37 in Rochester. Up we go. We're ahead of the cold front. Early morning time frame, we spike into the 50s with some rainfall. That's the main cold front right in here, just shy of 12 noon. 55 is your high on Monday. Wait till you see what happens by Monday evening, how cold we get and where the snow will form coming up.
Also ahead, Rochester's 79th homicide confirmed this weekend. A man shot multiple times on Watkin Terrace.
Today I am urging a surge of these at-home tests.
The push for at-home testing in New York with cases still on the rise.
From the team you can trust, this is News 8 at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this web edition of News 8 at 6. The surge in COVID cases, along with the arrival of the Omicron variant, are putting a renewed emphasis on testing. Statewide, we are looking at another 10,000 new cases, over 3,200 people in the hospital, and 619 people in intensive care right now. Local leaders are looking to ramp up at-home COVID testing to keep track of the virus. Alex Love joining us live now with this story. Alex.
That's right, Jack. Unlike when previous variants emerged, we now have the proper tools and testing when it comes to the knowledge on how to slow down the spread of COVID-19, and that can be done more quickly now that people can do it at home and quarantine immediately.
With President Joe Biden's winter COVID-19 response plan in action, a simple trip to local pharmacies, clinics, and community centers can be all it takes to receive free coronavirus test kits that can be done at home.
I am urging a surge of these at-home tests. They should be distributed to community health centers. They should be distributed by mobile vans and given free when a person wants a test.
Those with private insurance can now get reimbursed from their provider if they buy it over the counter, while those without insurance can still receive them for free at county-run sites. Monroe County has already purchased 750,000 of them, and they should arrive this week.
The goal here is to really flood the system with tests, but we need to make sure that we reach every corner of this county so that everyone has access. We're also working with our school partners to push them out through the schools.
With access to free and convenient testing expanded, those who test positive can quarantine immediately to stop the spread more quickly to people more vulnerable. A key move during a time when the Finger Lakes region, as of Friday, is averaging 884 COVID cases a day.
It'll cost a lot less to get people tested now and stop Omicron in its tracks than it will be to delay and let it spread and spread and spread.
Now, doctors with Rochester General Hospital told us rapid tests like these can sometimes produce false negatives. So when you do get them, it's important that you take two. Live in Rochester, Alex Love, News 8.
Alex, thank you. Each kit has directions on the back and numbers you can call for guidance. If you test positive, you must immediately contact the Department of Health or your doctor. Former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb says vaccine manufacturers are trying to keep up with the changing COVID virus. On Face the Nation this morning, he spoke about why it's such a challenge.
What happens is as the virus mutates, it probably starts to hide some of the viral targets on its surface, and so you get a vaccine that doesn't provide as broad immunity to the full complement of targets on its surface, so you get a more narrow vaccine.
Dr. Gottlieb says it's too early to panic over the Omicron variant. New data is expected on the transmission rates of that new variant in the coming weeks. A Rochester man is facing new charges after he struck a teen with his car in October, according to police. 16-year-old Matthew Bittner was hit crossing Chestnut Street in Rochester. He died the next day. Today, RPD says the driver, 39-year-old Kevin Lewis, is facing vehicular manslaughter charges, a felony. Lewis was originally charged with aggravated unlicensed operation and driving while ability impaired. Police say Lewis was under the influence of marijuana when the crash happened. According to police, Lewis said it was raining and he did not see Bittner crossing the road. Lewis is expected in court again at a later date. Rochester police say a 36-year-old man has become the city's 79th homicide victim. The victim, identified as Terrell McKnight, was shot multiple times on Watkin Terrace yesterday. Police say McKnight was rushed to the hospital but died from his injuries early this morning. No arrests as of yet. The RPD Major Crimes Unit is asking anyone with information to call 911. Today, Irondequoit police were on scene in the area of St. Paul Boulevard and Thomas Avenue. They say for a report that a man was damaging the windows of his home by throwing objects through them. They spoke with him and he agreed to come out of the home. The man was taken to a local hospital for evaluation. Nobody was hurt in this incident. Police in BROCKPORT are on the lookout for a suspect whom they say fired 2 rounds into the air last night. This happened around 2 a.m. on King Street in BROCKPORT. No victims were found. Police say several fights were going on both inside and outside the location. They say they found the handgun, but nobody is in custody yet. To Greece now, where crews battled a fire tonight on Oakbriar Drive near Dewey Avenue. Multiple trucks on scene as well as an ambulance. There is no word yet on the extent of the damage or any injuries. Former Republican Senator and presidential candidate Bob Dole has died. Dole was the 1996 nominee for president and a longtime leader in the Senate. He was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer earlier this year. He represented Kansas in Washington for over 3 decades. Dole was 98 years old. Back here in Rochester, Goodwill hosting a free Books and Bites event today to show off their new location. Complete with a hot chocolate bar, holiday crafts, a special book reading from Santa Claus, and gift card giveaways. The store also kept its Sunday book deal throughout the day, where select books are on sale for $1.
So we wanted to do something a little bit different in our bookstore to showcase the location, and so we decided to do a holiday Books and Bites themed program. So thinking differently this holiday season, thinking secondhand, our stores are here, great options for books, unique things that people can find as they're getting the season, and all of your dollars and supports go back to our mission work in the community.
The employees of Goodwill are hoping to get the word out that their bookstore is a great option for buying Christmas gifts. Meantime, local vendors getting together today for Rock-Made Goods. Customers can get all their holiday shopping done in one place as they check out the items on display, a selection of pottery, jewelry, home decor, and much more. The event also including a full bar of beer, wine, cocktails, and even mocktails to sip while strolling.
We just gather local artists. It's a collective of artists that we try to get together to host our seasonal sip and shop events. So we've been doing this for about 5 years now. So we have 38 artists here today, everything from ceramics, macrame, candles, bath and body products, quite the assortment.
Rock Holiday Goods also hosted a raffle donating the money to Open Door Mission, a charity providing meals and shelter to those in need. All right, I'm so glad it's this time of year. Day 3 of the Rock Holiday Village. The itinerary today included the petting zoo, Hanukkah celebration, and the Ryan Callahan Foundation Games on Ice. The village opened this Friday at MLK Park in downtown Rochester. It's open throughout the next few weeks, except on Mondays and Tuesdays, and ends on December 19th. The power provider National Grid is ramping up staff as we approach high winds heading into tomorrow. They have, quote, increased its statewide field force to include more than 2,300 line, service, tree, damage assessment, and public safety workers, and has activated its comprehensive emergency response plan. And speaking of those high winds, Eric Steidel joining us now. Eric.
Hi, Jack. Yeah, we're waiting on those to ramp up, of which that process is now starting to get underway. 37 degrees, current temperature at the Rochester Airport. Winds at the moment, east-southeast at 14 miles an hour. They're now gusting above 20. 20 will be 30, 40, and probably 50 plus as we go into the overnight as warmer air and rain get ready to move in. Now, this is going to be a wild ride around here over the next 24 hours. A night that features temperatures spiking the deeper we go into the night. We'll be in the 40s here in just a few hours. Set to climb into the lower and even middle 50s. How about that for a high tomorrow? Now, that high is going to happen up until about 12 noon. After that, don't go thinking we're going to be this warm all day long tomorrow. You will not be prepared to be dressed appropriately. Numbers dropping rapidly into the 30s. We'll talk about what that will mean for the Bills game here, and we stay with that much colder air as we go deeper into this upcoming week. I got highs on Tuesday, by the way, that might not even break the freezing mark, so some big changes here starting to work through. We've had some patchy light precipitation through the course of today. A lot of it has been closer toward the lakeshore. Could be some wet snowflakes in there, but we're warm enough now that we're also liable to have that just be plain rain. This is really just just the appetizer. You could see the more main event here off to our west. Widespread snow lifting northward into Canada. That is widespread rain as the warm front lifts northward out over Lake Erie. And that's going to be the rainfall that we watch coming on in here through tonight and then through a good chunk of the day tomorrow. Now, let's talk wind speeds out of this. We've got advisories and high wind warnings. Right off the top, I want to say this. I think this is a manageable wind event for a lot of our viewing area, but still, some will have higher gusts, others will be a little bit lower. We start with these numbers here. Wind gusts maxing out at about 50 miles an hour. I think a lot of the Rochester area, that's a fair number here locally. Might do a little higher in the Finger Lakes, 55, and then also right along the lakeshore. The biggest issues out of this, 60, 65 mile an hour gusts, are going to be more off of Lake Erie. I think especially south of Buffalo, the drive along 90, for example, that's where you're going to have your highest chance of some power outages. And that's not to say we won't have any, but generally speaking, when I see 50 or 55, I get more nervous when it's 60 plus. We probably will have some customers without power here tomorrow, but we can handle 50 and 55. I'm assuming that number should be manageable given that situation. Now, this is not the cold front, just the rainfall with the southerly winds overnight. Big burst of wind here as that southerly flow gets going. There's your 50 plus mile an hour gusts. Cold front will then come through at about 11 o'clock. Gusty winds again with that. Winds will then turn westerly behind it. This is your kickoff time. 31 in Buffalo with some lake snow showers around and still a lot of wind. Now, if I'm being honest with you, if you're going to this game, I'm not concerned about the snow showers. There probably won't be that many of them. This is going to be the bigger ticket affair here. Wind gusts 45, perhaps even as high as 50 miles an hour. The wind chills are going to be in the teens for the duration of this game. Tailgaters early will be in the 50s, but it will not be that way late for that. Much colder air behind it. Could be some light snow on Wednesday. That system too, though, Jack, does not look like it is overly impressive. And back up we go, looking ahead to next weekend. Highs spiking back into the 40s. December snow has eluded us up to this point, and I think we're going to keep dodging it for now.
Either way, tomorrow in Orchard Park, you think Devin Singletary, Matt Breida see a big day?
I have a tough time predicting how this one's going to go. Just with, you got 50 mile an hour winds here. I mean, what do you do? There's so many things that the Bills would traditionally do that you really can't do as well like that.
Interesting.
It's a tough one.
One to game plan for Sean McDermott tomorrow.
No
Eric,
kidding.
thank you. That's all for News 8 at 6, our web edition. We're back on television at 11. Have a great evening.